Good morning. So the question that came in was the fundamentals of the dollar Swiss. Has it changed at all? Um, so we can see on these charts, these are weekly charts of all the Swiss crosses, that it's a pretty drastic move. There seems to be some profit taking in that the price is not quite on the lows anymore. Um, yeah. So the question was on the fundamentals of the dollar Swiss. Are you aware that it has been or as you're aware, it's been in an uptrend? Yeah. Recent announcement changed the fundamentals of the dollar Swiss, and that the fundamentals we can no longer expect the pair to make higher highs. That's the first question. Second question: is the US dollar still stronger than the Swiss? And was the downward move tonight in the dollar Swiss the market panicking? And therefore, can we expect a correction and look for buying opportunities on the daily time frame? Whether we can pick up a bargain or not on the daily time frame. That's all very fair questions. I wouldn't I wouldn't go trading in some of the more exotics like the Kiwi Swiss. I'd leave that one alone. The Swiss Sing, I'd leave alone. Pound Swiss is something you could potentially look at. The Swiss Sec, yeah, you'd leave alone. Potentially even this one, although there might be possibilities there. So these four, or six, sorry, as something that you might look at as potential opportunities in some bargain hunting. Ideally, I'd prefer to stay with just the main one, the dollar Swiss, or the euro Swiss. Now there's clear overextension by these, and it's very tricky and I wouldn't advocate actually doing it myself. I might trade it myself, but I wouldn't advocate it and not say, yeah, guys, go for it. However, there may be opportunities on the daily time frame or even shorter time frames to participate in the overselling of this. This move is largely panic because they don't know what's going to happen. As I wrote in the report this morning, the only reason people would want to own the Swiss currency now is because the Swiss National Bank may have to roll out of their positions, and therefore they've been a seller of their currency, trying to keep a weak currency for their export business, would then may have to turn into a buyer. Possibly. I mean, they could roll those assets into other. They've got a lot of euro on their books. They might roll those euros into US. They don't necessarily have to buy Swiss. But would you own Swiss assets at this stage with their currency going through the roof and negative interest rates? I personally wouldn't want to have my money anywhere near it. And that's where you may see some opportunities elsewhere in other safe haven assets such as gold or yen. So I think these moves are overdone. There's just initial panic from the market trying to find where is fair value, I would expect that these trends would continue. Um, your CAD Swiss finally hit the profit target. Yeah, I'm sure if you were short it would have hit all profit targets. Um, and Jess, you're peeved that it took you carried on. Well, you made a profit. Don't be pissed off and making money. So these moves, I think, are largely overextended. There will be some sort of bounce, as you can see that when the market does get overextended, there will be a bounce. But if we look at the daily or hourly on this one here, there's already been a bounce of what's that, 200 pips, from 84 to 86. But it's, you really are playing with a lot of fire when you sort of try and get in amongst that. I would not advocate it, although there's opportunities. I certainly wouldn't advocate it. Okay. Um, so yeah, it's certainly a surprising move by the bank. It certainly made some of the other pairs react in random ways, like the Aussie got sold off when it should be bullish. The yen obviously gained because it was a proper or a safe haven. Certainly turned my Aussie Kiwi trade around. And even the pound Aussie, which was looking very well. Yeah, so the stops are looking under severe threat on both of those. So it's a bit of a tricky night. I prefer to stay out of it, manage what I've got. I'm not going to move my stop after seeing that bar thanks to the Swiss, nor am I going to move my stop on this one. So I'll just, obviously, may run the risk of getting stopped out, but I prefer to just stay out of the market when this sort of news hits the wires. Wait for the panic to come out, everybody to calm down, take a breath, and go, well, is it really all that bad? And potentially we might see a rally next week. But yeah, it'd certainly be sticking to the stronger currency pairs rather than the exotics that are out there. So that's pretty much it for the Swissy. It's a very big surprise. You certainly look at any market website that no one was really expecting it. Although there's one bloke over in Austin, Texas, who got it right, apparently. Swiss stunner comes as well. Central banks diverges. Yeah, it was completely unexpected. And the largest move anyone's seen for meet the guy who called it. Certainly the largest move was seen in our trading career. Certainly one of the strongest moves I've seen. Not necessarily the largest move I've ever seen, but certainly the most surprising and strongest move in the last 10 years. There's a dollar Swiss monthly, and you can just see from that move alone. There are some other large moves like this here and this one here that are comparatively in size, but did they all happen in one day? Unlikely. Fun times. It's good when you're on the right side of it, as a lot of you guys were, being short the CAD Swiss, which is great if you were short it. This resistance that Ezio has been looking at for a long time in his channel on the weekly. Certainly got to the bottom end of your channel there if that was your target. Well, maybe not quite there. But what is interesting on this one is this low here. Went through it and back above it. So I would certainly advocate stay the hell away from it certainly until next maybe Tuesday, once everybody's had time to think about it, and come back and have a crack at it on Monday night, and then on Tuesday we might have a look at it. But other than that, I'd really say stay away from it. Scalping is certainly not an option, because it'll be very tricky and more than likely unsuccessful. So this one here, this Euro Swiss, is obviously, this is where the floor or the cap was. Again, I don't know how much longer it'll stay down there when they've got negative interest rates. People won't be really buying the franc or sending their money into Switzerland. And they've certainly lost all credibility now, having only 2 days ago said that they were adamantly defending that, and it was a key tool in their arsenal. So I think it's all bullshit. They're all full of shit. Elsewhere, what else is out there? There's not really much going on. Just going back to the US dollar, oil price. Oh, don't know if I want to see it like that. Oil price is continuing to weaken overnight. but the US dollar is weakness story. Had a bit of a bounce overnight, and a lot of the pairs we can see. Yeah, forget that one. But the pound held up pretty well. I like that action. So if we go across the pound pairs, it didn't sell off all that much. I think the pound would benefit hugely from any sort of action. That looks pretty nice. A nice strong support level there. Any sort of quantitative easing out of Europe, I think, would be good for the pound, good for the UK. It would certainly strengthen their economy. So I would look for opportunities to be long pound. This is effectively the trade I've got on, being long pound Aussie and long Aussie Kiwi. I got monstered last night. That might be interesting. The daily's no real clear trend. Certainly quite a bit of resistance across here. And if those of you who've got a signal or can go back further, this is actually a fib level from a larger move. Yeah, it's more sort of range bound than anything, but I do like this cycle here. That could be interesting. Is it worth looking at dollar China, long dollar China? I'll come back to it. Let me just finish off with the pound Aussie. Was looking good as it broke through that resistance level. Mongrel thing. Yeah, I'm not seeing much out there, and I prefer to just, being Friday afternoon, just manage what I've got and not take on any new positions. So yeah. However, we'll have a look at the dollar China, dollar yuan, dollar renminbi, whichever way you want to call it. Well, that's a large engulfing bar. The US dollar strength story, not over yet. Still got a long way to play that one out. Against China, though, well, they're not exactly struggling, but they're not sort of on fire as much as they used to be. I'd be suspect. And the problem with this bar here is, where's your obvious stop is going to be under there, isn't it? That's the strongest place, which means that your risk reward, or your risk, is going to be quite large in terms of number of pips, and therefore, are you going to get a risk reward out of it? There's quite a large double top there. After that, well, you can see the lows over here. 8.2, I think, was their previous. You're not going to give me more history. 8.2 was their previous peg, so that's a hard ceiling. That's obviously miles away, but there's a bit of resistance there. So I wouldn't look at it, Jess. 4 hour, no, unless you look. What are you looking to go short it? No, you're looking to long it. No, not when you look at something like the pound CAD, or even Aussie Kiwi. I mean, obviously it got monstered last night, but that's news that wasn't aware of. So here we had, apart from this bar here, we had this momentum going along here. It failed to break that high there, but I thought it might, though. And therefore the 4 hour, we had this good nice cycle above the 50 EMA. Note also that there was the divergence here across the lows here and across here. And so with this 4 hour, we've got that 4 hour there, then this buying bar came in, and that's when I would look to get in. It was looking sweet until about 8:30 last night. Um, and that's sort of, there's more time spent above that. There's more, what's the word? More convincing, I suppose, is a way to say it. Compared to the dollar renminbi, you've only got sort of, um, you've only it's just this bar here on the back of the Swiss news has pushed it above that sort of the 50 EMA. I don't see this as a cycle. This is just a knee-jerk reaction to the news. So it's not something that I would want to sort of take on. If that makes sense, is that this bar is mostly reacting to the news of the Swiss. We're back to that sort of support resistance level anyway. Yeah, not a huge advocate of it, mate. You see what I'm talking about, then the difference of this 4-hour setup compared to this one here. Yeah. I'll make that on the 4-hour. Are we all good with that? Alright. Yeah, I'm a little dumbfounded with what's happened overnight. I don't really see much opportunity. Sure, in the Swiss there might be something, but I think it's high risk. Aussie dollar starting to find or set some decent resistance around here at 82.50. It should have gone higher than that. On the back of those great figures we had out of the jobs data here, so we've got some big resistance building up there, which is not what should be happening with this. This should be higher, the Aussie dollar. Should be around getting up to 83 and a half. But central banks have just, as they always do, tend to fuck things up. Yeah, so I prefer to just wipe my hands of the day and come back next week and fight again, rather than try and take on a position when there's so much volatility and lack of liquidity out in the marketplace this week, thanks to the SNB. Just manage what you got. If you made money this week, thanks to the SNB, well done. Pocket that and enjoy your weekend. That's about all I've got for you guys today. If there's anything you want me to go through now, speak up, or we'll have a chat again on Monday. I dare say on Monday we can be enthusiastic enough to go through everything, but at this stage I'm a little dumbfounded by the knobhead in Switzerland. Jordan, what have you been doing? Alright guys, anything else? If you've got nothing for me, I'm going to have a long weekend. Please talk about stop management on Aussie Sting. Talk about stop management on Aussie Sting. Did you go short Aussie Sting? So I presume you shorted Aussie Sing, and with the Aussie failing to go through this 82 area, you might be looking alright. If you shorted it here, underneath that low test or high test bar, you don't really have a reason to move your stop just yet. I'd be leaving my stop there. This is a higher low. It is a reversal bar, and therefore you do have, I suppose you do have a reason. I tell a lie. You do have a reason because you have a reversal bar, but it's a doji bar. You're back to break even. That's fabulous. Being this doji bar, you could potentially move your stop to that. that level there. I don't think I've got enough history on this pair to tell me where the resistance level is, but I would suggest $1.10 is where the resistance is. That nice round number. I'd like to see more history, but I don't have it. If you've got it from a signal, my issue is, or the thing that you'd be looking at is, if your stops at $1.10 or higher than $1.10, i.e., it's, move your little wank. If it's above this level here, well, then it's better protected. And by moving it above this reversal bar, you're coming inside the protection, and you're saving yourself potentially 0.2% or even less. Is that really worth it? Wouldn't it be better to be here and stay there until you can get your stop to break even? That's the way I would consider it. But this is a doji bar, so it's not committal, and that's the way I would be doing it. You could move it, but is to save yourself $20 or $100, depending on your account size. Let's call it a percentage of 0.1 or 0.2. Is that really worth it when you're better protected above this resistance line? Yeah, it is a reason to move a stop. Doesn't mean you have to. Okay. It's the same as you're thinking. Nice to hear the confirmation. No worries, mate. You enjoy it down south there. You guys are having a bit of a terrible time of things recently, aren't you? Planes going into waters and bushfire season and freezing cold or something. Yeah. Anyway, Hobart. Good luck to you. Anyway, mate, and to all of you, you guys have a lovely weekend. I'll be back on Monday morning, and we'll see what the market thinks of this Swiss thing. I mean, most of it's priced in now. The ridiculousness of central banks. And enjoy.